We are live. Hey everybody, welcome to special Zenny 62 on the Monday night before the 2019 4th of July. But once again, and it is my honor in to introduce a person who's been a friend and a mentor to me for a long time now. And he is Elihu Harris. He's the former mayor of Oakland, and still always a major force in California politics. And for those of you who don't know who Elihu is, but should, let me read you a short bio, because I'm actually, it's been a while since I've done that, Elihu, since I read your bio. So I'll read you short, the Wikipedia version. He's an American retired politician and college administrator, member of the Democratic Party. He was the 46th mayor of Oakland from 1991 to 1999. He was, for 12 years, a member of the California State Assembly. Weren't you the youngest ever voted as Assembly member?
Yeah, I know I was the youngest ever voted, but I was youngest when I was there.
Yeah, it was the youngest when you was there. Yeah.
After the guy 26, he only stayed a couple of years. That's I can't think Mark Libby Schaaf, Thomas. Sorry, Thomas. His father, Mark Ridley Thomas, on the board of supervisors in L.A. He's the youngest, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mark Ridley Thomas. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And he was Peralta Community College Board Chancellor from 2003 to 2010. And he was also on the advisory board of Sports Business Simulations, my first startup. Just want to put that in there. And he got his BA Political Science from Cal State University Hayward. He was a student body vice president. He got his master's from public policy at University of California at Berkeley in 1969, and his law degree from University of California Davis School of Law in 1972. He has a number of firsts, and I'm just pleased to have him on. And because I remember, I have a lot of Elihu stories, but I'll tell one that I think really shaped me. And when Elihu hired me in '95, and I really started working early '96, and that was when there was a guy named Dave Alexander. Remember that name, Elihu? Dave Alexander that built that was going to build what would have been a 2 million square foot shopping center in what is now called Uptown Oakland. In fact, it's called Uptown Oakland because of David Alexander, but I digress. At any rate, I had a column in the Montclarian, and I was always known as being a bomb thrower. And Elihu specifically taught me, he said, I want you to get to a point where you see something, and instead of just yelling out in the room, you just kind of don't say anything. A few meetings go on, and then one day you say, damn it, And then I remember another time when we had the negotiations with the Navy regarding the disposition of the the Oakland Army base. You specifically said to me, you don't have to say anything. Just sit next to me and whisper into my ear, and everyone will know where the power is. That's all you need to do. Obviously, by the fact that I repeat that now, I've never forgot that lesson. It's, in politics, image and power oftentimes speak much more than if you actually say something,
Perception is reality for many people.
Yeah, absolutely. Perception is reality. And I think that's a great way to start off this conversation about, I entitled it, Former Oakland Mayor Harris Talks State of Oakland Raiders, Warriors, A's in the City. And I don't expect you, it's kind of broad ranging, but from your point of view. But I really want you to, obviously, this is your platform. What is it in your mind? How is the city of Oakland doing? And then after I ask that, Raider Gans says welcome, and he has a question too. We're already getting questions flying in here. How's Oakland doing, Mayor Harris?
Well, it's changing, and primarily because of gentrification. Different people, younger people without families. It hasn't as much impacted the neighborhoods as it is downtown, but gentrification is going citywide. So you no longer have very many low-income, affordable neighborhoods anymore on any side of Oakland, but particularly in West Oakland. West Oakland is becoming very gentrified and very expensive. You can't find anything in Oakland for much less than about $700,000 that anybody's living in. And I think the other thing came is the demographics are changing. There are fewer black and brown, and even yellow people. They're moving out to the suburbs. They're moving east and they're moving north. Certainly, we're seeing changes in terms of the nightlife. There's more of a nightlife, not in Jackson on the Square, but around the neighborhood, particularly in places like Rockridge and Uptown. You find neighborhood bars and people hanging out at night. So I think there's a lot of things, some of it good, some of it bad, but obviously changing. And you have to watch the change because it's changing the character and the nature of Oakland. And I worry about that. And just with that is the Warriors moving to San Francisco. They've been a hometown team. The people with them win or lose. I think now they're going to get that high-tech money crowd that we have very little team loyalty when they're successful. I think it's going to change the mix of the crowd. I think they're going to sit on their hands and not yell as much, and yet not have that oracle effect that they had so many years, remember oracle. And I think all those things are indicative of change.
Hey, why not an Oakland team? Why can't Oakland get an NBA expansion team? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, if there's an expansion team, they're not going to come into this market. Maybe Seattle, maybe Vegas. There are other markets where there's no team and no competition. And I think that they're more likely to go there. Seattle is the most logical choice. They had a team, but now the area has grown. The demographics are different. There's a lot more money in Seattle because of technology with Amazon and Microsoft and all those. Google is just opening an office up there. So I think that Seattle would be my first choice, and I'm not sure they'll have two new teams on the West Coast.
Are we?
Yeah.
Given what you said, and then given where are we in terms of our ability to build large public projects that create jobs? Because tell me if you think I'm wrong, but it seems like we're seceded building to the private sector, and we're not working on these stadiums or convention centers or anything like that. Or am I wrong?
No, without redevelopment money, we've lost control. And now what you find is helter-skelter housing developments, no parking, no grocery stores or any real shopping or consumer-driven businesses. And I think as a result, other than Chinatown, and that's having its own problem because we don't have a 24-hour Chinatown. Most of the Asian population in Chinatown has also moved out. So, I mean, all of this takes, there's no longer a Smart and Final in downtown Oakland, so there's no grocery store in the downtown Oakland, even with the growing population.
And you brought Smart and Final to Oakland. I remember that.
Right.
That's so, wow. The picture that I'm getting, because when I was back, it just seemed like there were parts of Oakland where, how do I say this? That people didn't quite know what was happening or who the people were. I'm saying that hesitantly because I know Oakland so well, I know so many people, but
right.
On the other hand, you go, McConnell Cadillac is gone, there's a brand new building in its place. That whole area around Pill Hill is changing. It's becoming more developed. And it's like,
right.
All of a sudden, the white money that used to skip us, now that it's come to us, it's not like it's coming to us, but it's making life better for everybody. And yet we have more and growing homeless. And I'm thinking, why is it that we're allowing this, and yet we're allowing people to basically, as Timothy Leary would say, tune out and basically do their LSD and have no problem with the police. But that's faster to do, but then now you have all these homeless people on the street, and it doesn't seem like the city treats it as an emergency. What's going on?
It's going without a plan. Jerry Brown never had a plan other than he said he's going to build 20,000 housing units downtown Oakland, and he started doing it, but there was no sense of where, there was no sense of when, there was no sense of how it started, and with San Francisco having a boom, it's over. The article in the New York Times, Oakland is Brooklyn by the Bay, is absolutely a great analogy. Brooklyn has had the same kind of transformation that Oakland is having. And quite frankly, it's not always good. You don't provide for, again, shopping. You don't provide for transportation. everybody's going to try to get on BART in downtown. We have another 20,000 people trying to get on BART, but all the people have already gotten on in Pittsburgh, Bay Point, Stockton, in Walnut Creek, and so on. So we really are having a transportation system that's not keeping pace with the increased population in downtown Oakland.
Has anyone, to your knowledge, talked about doing something about that? I know the mayor has her Department of Transportation, but I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to do.
Well, it's certainly not strategic. It may be doing something like speed potholes and things like that, but I don't think it's really looking long term at how to streamline traffic or how to use the bus system or coordinate with AC Transit. So I know exactly what it's doing. I know it's supposed to coordinate transportation in the city. I don't see it as being broad and comprehensive, at least at this point.
Rebecca Kaplan talked about getting rid of it. What do you think? She didn't win, of course, but, what do you think?
I think that the case should be made, and the mayor who set it up and the administration who set it up certainly ought to be able to defend both what it's doing and what it will do.
Yeah, and I don't know that she's made a case for that. I mean, I know that, and to the credit of the Department of Transportation, I will say that crosswalks that needed to be in place on Grand Avenue are in place. Much needed striping is finally there. The lake is finally looking like the lake, but a lot of that, of course, was, Measure K funding.
Yeah, that wasn't transportation department. That was done. That started when Jerry Brown was in there.
Yeah, it's like 27 years old in total, isn't it? I mean, it goes back to I think that goes back to when Russo was council member.
It goes back a good 15 years, that's for sure.
You're talking about now Irvine City Manager John Russo, who was back then until 2001 the Oakland District 2 council member. So if you were mayor, I got to ask you about this, given what you said, and given what I saw and I blogged about, Local 21 workers storming on the office of the mayor. And I have to say something about that, folks. I didn't make that video. I didn't know that video was coming. I gave Local 21, and they still have, permission to make a video, to be a Zenny 62 Media vlogger, and make video blogs, either still or live stream, anytime they want. They put that up there, and I just happened to see it, and I went, are you kidding me? And it turned out to be a group of, it looked like 100, 150 Local 21 members storming on the mayor's office because they claim the mayor's union busting. Now, in all the time I worked for you, Elihu, I never saw anything like that. In fact, the only time I saw a demonstration that compared to that was when Bunachina, a boss, which is I forgot what the acronym stands for, but she's been a long time, activist for the poor. And she sent a group of homeless people to chant against me when I was working on that, remember the Oakland Downtown Coalition? That's the only, and they didn't, yeah, and you know what though? The Oakland police didn't even let them come in. That shows you how much respect they had for me. They left them outside. They came up to the office. I'm in the middle of the Downtown Coalition.
And you know what the good news is?
What?
Boss is still around, and so are you.
That's true. I've never met Bunachina in person. That's funny. I gotta correct that. But
you ought to look it up.
I will.
It's always good to talk to a fellow ace. Always good to talk to a fellow veteran.
Yeah, I hear you, definitely. Yeah. So what happened was I didn't know what was going on outside. I'm in the middle of the Oakland Downtown Coalition brought together all these different groups that weren't talking to each other so that they would help Alex Greenwood finish the reformation of 14th and Broadway as it is today. It's a transit area, mass transit area. Anyway, these three Oakland police officers come up and they say, Zenny Abraham here. And I said, yeah, I'm Zenny. And I have no idea what's going on. I know I didn't do anything wrong. So I was like, yeah, I'm here. And they said, well, there's a group of people outside that want to talk to you. And so I went outside and they're yelling, hey, ho, Zenny Abrams got to go. And I'm standing out there just cheering. They had no idea. I figured out they expected me to be a white guy. They're serious, and they're chanting. I got down there in the crowd. I'm chanting with them. I'm chanting, hey, ho, Zenny Abrams got to go. So I got up after About 5 minutes, I said, "Hey, I'm Zinni Abraham." You should have seen the look on their faces. It was hilarious. Anyway, that's the only time that I can remember we've ever had a demonstration against the mayor's office. I'm glad you didn't fire me, but anyway. But they were going after Libby. What's going on, man?
Well, first of all, people have to be willing to be able to show leadership and stand up. But you have to be able to defend what you're doing. Now, for us, we were trying to make sure that people who wanted to get on public transportation could do it.
Right.
And there's a conflict between people sleeping at the bus stop, so people can't get on the bus, and people who have a right to use public transportation. So, but they wanted to have nothing done. It wasn't that we were not willing to engage in a conversation about what the options were, but they just weren't going to talk at all. They were going to let people sleep, stand, pee, whatever they wanted to do, wherever they were. And that's not balance. And so our job was to say, look, we need to look at the alternatives. They didn't even want anybody discussing alternatives. And that, to me, is not tenable. In a city, we all have to get along. We have to provide for alternatives for people, and people need to be reasonable. Now, if people aren't willing to be reasonable, hey, they say, like you said, got to do what you got to do.
Hey, what would you do, or what was your relationship with the unions like, such that you never had would Libby happen? You know.
Well, first of all, you have ongoing dialogue. You don't wait till the point of crisis to have a conversation, and so nobody's surprised if that happens. And Libby should have been expecting it, I assume, and been prepared for it. Sometimes you get to an impasse, and if people know you're going to crumble at an impasse, then all they got to do is wait, and then cause chaos or strife or whatever it might be. But you want to avoid that whenever possible. And if reasonable people can get together and find a reasonable solution, it can be avoided. It can't always be avoided, but often it can.
Hey, has the mayor called on you for advice?
Last time I talked to the mayor was actually January 17th, 2019. So it's been almost 6 months, 5 months.
Sounds like she's overdue for a check-in.
Hey, you know what? I don't bother the mayor. I mean, she knows I'm available for her. And hey, it's her job, and I'm here to support her. I'm not here to fight with her.
Is Oakland better under this strong mayor system? Or does it still matter who the mayor is? I mean, you did a great job under council manager form of government.
Yeah, well, it could be, but you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a clear agenda. If you ask me what the agenda is in Oakland, I really don't know. And maybe somebody, in fact, maybe you ought to have the mayor on to tell you what the agenda is. I mean, she'll say homelessness and illegal dumping, and those are the problems. I want to know what the agenda is to solve them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she has an agenda, and it just seems like everything is.
I don't know what it is. I won't say she doesn't have one. I can only tell you I don't know what it is.
And I think, to correct myself, it's not fair to say that because, for example, she had a gigantic housing task force. Although I think it was put on, some of the wrong people were on it. That's just me. But
what did they do though?
Well, they created this 118-page book that ostensibly was supposed to help solve the affordable housing crisis, but it just got us more market rate housing. So
right. So that's what I'm saying. Having a task force that doesn't solve the problem is not what I consider either successful or even helpful.
And then she's got, full disclosure, people who me watches knows Philip Tagami's been a friend of mine for 30 years. And I'm now helping him get out the word about his Oakland Bulk and Oversized Oakland Global project. But even before I was under or helping them in the capacity of media, I've always been a proponent for something that Phil was trying to do, almost 3 decades ago, which is build a bulk terminal. And what bothers me about this is it seems like the city can be rolled politically in a way where I've never seen. You talked about having a plan, and that's the one thing I remember is we always had a plan. And I remember when you, David Alexander, Denise Pinkston, who I went to Cal with, Kofi, who is our interim city manager, who I also went to Cal with, and I were in this meeting, and we were talking about Uptown. And we were talking about, I think they had Denise had what I just figured out was a subsidy request that was kind of hidden, and
Right.
she's saying, well, without that, we can't do X. And I remember toward the end of our meeting, you pointed specifically at this map, and you said, I want to do the impossible. I want to do that. And you had a vision, you know? And I don't sense that, and I don't mean to take this away from Libby, because, you know, but she has a hard time communicating to me what her vision for Oakland is. And if her vision for Oakland is what we have right now, we're screwed, in my opinion. You know, what do you think?
Well, several things. One, when we wanted to do Uptown, we were trying to build a 24-hour downtown that would support retail and entertainment and housing. And we were planning it. But when I left office, we thought Jerry Brown would continue that plan. Instead, Jerry Brown gave $70 million to Forest City and Nancy Bird, guaranteeing a profit to build Uptown, and then spent $80 million restoring the Fox, which we spent $3 million for. And there's $150 million that went to an employment center and a for-profit housing project that, quite frankly, should have been done privately because there was no affordable housing and quite frankly, no need for incentives.
How did we let that go off the rails? The reason I ask is because I'll tell you. You remember when we went to ICSC and I gave the presentation, and
yes.
I thought we had them pegged. I thought we had it in the bag, and next thing I knew, I'm driving them with Greg Vilkin and Susan Smart, and they're talking about housing, and I wasn't. And they said they talked to Jerry Brown, and I remember thinking in the back of my mind, do I want to get out of this car and flip it over or what? No, I'm in it. I really felt like they had pulled a fast one on us.
Yeah. Well, remember, I don't know if you remember, we were talking to people like Eddie DeBarlo,
yeah,
and others,
yeah,
about doing basically a mixed use, gigantic housing, entertainment, retail development in Oakland.
Yep.
And it just fell through.
Yeah, and
but it fell through because we ran out of time, and Jerry Brown didn't want to do that.
That's what I'm saying, though. He didn't want to do it, but what happened was to me, I don't know how it looked to you, but it looked to me like the minute he figured out he was going to be mayor, he shifted. It was like, hey, all right, I'm going to go along with this, but then now that I got the power, forget it. I'm not going to do that,
Well, I know that he had a plan, but he had Jerry clearly had an agenda.
Yeah.
So that I'll give him credit for, and he did a good job of implementing his agenda. I don't know that it was good for Oakland, but some people would think, yes, that's why we have all this downtown development now, because Jerry Brown started the ball rolling with expensive upscale apartments in Uptown. But I think that his plan should have been much more comprehensive. We have no downtown retail to speak of. People who want to spend their retail dollars have to go to San Francisco or Walnut Creek. And one of the things we wanted to do, and had an agreement with several department stores, is that they were going to build a Macy's. They were going to do a lot of different things. They, quite frankly, all fell through when we lost focus on a 24-hour downtown.
How did we lose focus?
Because that's what happens when you change mayors. I had one agenda, Jerry had another agenda. So it takes a long time to develop projects. I mean, you got to get money, you got to get the right talent team, you got to get the right development team, all those things. And then Jerry Brown had a different agenda. It wasn't my agenda. And to his credit, he was elected, and he had the right to pursue that. He ran on a different kind of an agenda. I think that the agenda that I had was worthy of continuing. He didn't. He was the mayor, and he was a strong mayor. So he was able to obviously bring his own city manager in, or city administrator, his own department head, and people that wanted to carry out his agenda. And that's what he did.
It begs the question, though, should it have been a 3-term limit instead of 2? Because, it dawns on me.
No, I didn't have it. No. Jerry Brown put the limit in as part of his straw mayor initiative. I had no limit. Mine was self-imposed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was true. But having said that, though, it seems to me that you need, if you're going to do long-term public projects that, like, for example, what Phil's trying to do, or a convention center or stadium or anything else, you need the focus of people that are going to be there either through 3 terms or they're going to be in place even as you shift chairs politically, right? And it just seems to me that we don't have that. It seems like we have instability now.
Okay, here's my point. One, the agenda should be bigger than any one political person or an organization, because the agenda needs to be embraced by the community. So we, as you remember, when I first became mayor, we had Oakland sharing the vision to develop a long-term plan for the city of Oakland. We developed a new general plan, new zoning ordinance. So we have all the things in place as to where things ought to be built, housing densities, where retail could be, and the like. But he just abandoned it. It wasn't that there was no plan. It was just that he didn't want that plan, and he wanted to do things his way. And the city council didn't have the discipline, and the community didn't have the discipline to either say, we want to go for a new plan, or we want to go with the old plan. They just kind of got acted on. They didn't even react. They just say, hey, we'll see what happens. And now we are basically 14 years since Jerry Brown left office, actually 16 years since Jerry Brown left office, and look what we are. I mean, we're growing, and that's what he wanted. We're going downtown, and that's what he wanted. But I still think more affordable housing, gentrification, poor people and middle income people are being driven out. And, to me, that's not a comprehensive agenda. But he achieved that part of it that was his focus, and that was more housing downtown.
Yeah, the irony is that the 10K program built up more affordable, more assessed value, which then causes more tax increment financing. It seemed like Jerry cut off his own pattern by killing redevelopment, which would really help have flowered his 10K agenda. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, no, he killed it after he left office. He didn't kill it while he was in office. He wanted to kill it for Ron Dellums, because Ron Dellums wouldn't have anything to live on.
Yeah, that's true.
Jerry Brown is very mercurial, and Jerry Brown takes care of Jerry Brown.
What do you think Jerry's legacy will be as California's only twice governor? Yeah.
I think his legacy in Oakland is downtown housing. I think his gentrification and all that comes with it. His legacy in Sacramento, I think, is much stronger. He stabilized the city. He brought it out of debt, put it on a positive cash flow, and he left office the state much stronger than when he came in.
Certainly.
So I think that whether you like or not like what Jerry Brown did, you have to give credit for his term as 8 years as governor. I think he certainly restored California to at least. Now, he didn't solve problems. Again, he did not solve. In fact, he exacerbated the problem of homelessness. But he definitely kind of put the state and state government back in a positive light and more constructive structure. Now, he had projects that were doomed to fail, like the long-term high-speed rail. But, you can't succeed in everything, so I'm not even casting the blame on that.
Hey, how, in that context, how do you think Gavin, current California governor and friend Gavin Newsom is doing?
I think Gavin is, he's only been in office 6 months. So obviously the jury is out. I think he's taking some bold, courageous stands on policy issues, and we'll have to see whether or not those work out. Sanctuary cities, for example, made California sanctuary state. He's taking no death penalty during his term in office. I mean, he's done a lot of things, and quite frankly, most people never started with. Certainly have moved as strong a policy statement on issues that have very little political capital, particularly somebody who's ambitious wants to run for Senate or President. But so far, so good. I mean, nobody's really fought it yet. I think in a lot of ways, we'll see where it goes, but he's starting off strong.
No, I'm proud of him. I always thought his rightful place would be governor, and I felt that, and I don't know your view, I always thought that the society was moving toward him because he did a lot of things. He got involved in a lot of movements, particularly with respect to the gay community statewide. Even he's not gay, but he really put it up front and center a good relationship with that community, and they stuck by him. And then he was really the first to really point to homelessness, even though the care not cash thing was Not exactly something that he wanted to hang his hat on ultimately, but the bottom line is he was always out in front and more progressive than San Francisco and the state. And I always thought, it just seemed like the lines were kind of meeting toward him in Sacramento. It just seemed like it was perfect.
I think he set the lines ahead for him in Washington.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could definitely see him as president. I could see him that. Hey,
Hey, he got a young family.
Mm-hmm.
In 8 years, his youngest child will be about, 10, 11?
Yep. Yeah. So he'll.
So,
Right.
so be ready. Gavin, he got that, perfect wife, perfect little family, and he's, and by the time he runs for president, the country may have caught up with his policy.
I think that's where we're headed. I really do. And on that note, I have Raider Gans has 3 questions for you regarding the presidency. Before I get to them, I want to know how do you see the presidential race stacking up?
Well, if I had to call it today, I'd say Biden and Harris, but a lot could change in the next 18 months.
Raider Gans.
Actually, next 12 months. Huh?
Okay. Raider Gans has these questions. He says, first, just wondering if Senator Harris' handling of Oscar Grant was more relevant than the busing issue she brought up during the debate. I didn't think about that. What are your thoughts?
What does she have to do with Oscar Grant?
I don't know. I mean, I don't recall that she had anything to do with it.
That was the DA in San Francisco. Oscar Grant was in Alameda County.
Yeah, that was.
And you would have to look at either. I think Nancy O'Malley.
That was Orloff. That was Orloff. That was Orloff.
But it was Orloff. Whoever it was, it wasn't. It was not Kamala.
No, it wasn't Kamala at all. It was Orloff, who's a friend.
Yeah, she doesn't do Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant was killed in Oakland, and the case was dealt with by the Alameda County District Attorney.
Yeah, so there you go, Raider Gans, and so and he says Raider Gans says she was AG at the time. Yeah, but that wasn't her jurisdiction. The way you have to understand California law is the Attorney General's. I mean, there's no reason for her to step in.
Yeah. It's not like the federal government where there is a situation where civil rights or other things allow the federal government to come in and investigate. State law, there's no state law violation. It's all locally enforced.
Well, wait, Raider Gans, are you against Kamala Harris? I'm trying to figure out. It got a little slant to it. Anyway, you think that? Kamala,
one thing Kamala is having to defend is her record as district attorney.
Yeah.
She may have the wrong case, but the issue certainly is appropriate. And people are really saying, what kind of DA was she? As a prosecutor claimed that she was out helping poor people. And I think you have to look at her policy. She was certainly a progressive district attorney. She did not impose the death penalty, and the police were against her for that. So it's a tough position. But if you think that people who violate the law, who kill, who murder, who rape, ought to be prosecuted, I don't know why somebody who's a prosecutor, if they're fair and diligent, ought to be persecuted or somehow find unacceptable. But it's the job we want good people to do.
Yeah, Raider Gans says, I understand that her issue with Biden was he didn't step in. She never gave an opinion on the punishment of the officer received. I think, I'm Raider Gans. I see what you're getting at, but I don't think. I don't mean to be insulting, but
I think that we have another discussion about the role of the state attorney general versus the role of the district attorney. But that's pretty much state constitutional law, and has very little control. She could have spoken up on it, but it wasn't her role.
Right.
As the state attorney general, she has very little role in criminal prosecution.
And that's that's going to be the word on that. So I'm going to shift gears and talk about the one thing I think is positive that's going on. Actually, not the only thing. There are a lot of things like the alley and everything else, but the Oakland Athletics are committed to Oakland, and they have a council report coming up. I believe it's tomorrow. What do you think about what the A's are trying to do down at Howard Terminal?
I think it's the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
But I respect their ability to try to build it there. Mm-hmm. I just think you look logically at building right next to the train tracks, trying to put a gondola and bring 5,000 people an hour, when you're at least a mile from the closest BART station. There's no real mass transit option down there, and you got to build some kind of an overpass to bring pedestrians to get there. I just don't think it's the right location. I understand it's close to Jackson Square, but even Jackson Square has struggled because of its location with the Amtrak and other trains coming through there and freight trains coming through there. So I probably would have preferred to kept it where it was from the standpoint of transportation by freeway, by bus, and by BART, and by Amtrak for that matter. I think all those four have a great juncture there at the Coliseum, and I think that quite frankly, once the Raiders are gone, you really have no other competition with a really nice site for a baseball stadium.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that because Dave Caval's reason that he states is that it would cost $400 million to build a mound to bring the stadium up to sea level, which, you know, frankly speaking, I've never heard before. And I'm wondering if it's just a made-up excuse. I mean, I see what he's saying because there's a mound for the arena, but am I missing something? Because Elihu, I thought, you know, I've been around a while. I haven't heard anybody use that as a deal breaker.
Well, first of all, look, it didn't flood for football. It ain't flooded for baseball. I mean, I don't know where that came from. I never even heard that as an issue from anywhere other than somebody looking for an excuse.
That's what it sounded like to me because I thought about it and I thought, wait a minute, $400 million to build a mound. And I was thinking, wait, has anyone said that before? What?
The Coliseum's been out there over 50 years.
Yeah.
And the only flooding that we had is when pipes broke.
Right. And see, someone had the stupid-ass idea that the pipe breaking came from it being under sea level. And I said, no, that's not it.
No.
I mean,
the pipe just broke.
Yeah.
you have pipe breaking 50-story buildings.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm glad you said that because now I'll get on. I was going to write about that or blog about it, but now I know exactly. I didn't have the confidence to make my point because I was thinking, have I been away that long where maybe I just missed something? You know, I was going to look for a document, right?
But let me say, I'm opposed to the A's building at that site. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's their job to make it make sense. Because I've been in some of the neighborhood meetings, the downtown neighbors don't particularly like it. They don't like the idea of the gondola pulling past their windows at night, and in the daytime, they don't see it as a year-round option. They think, well, maybe people will ride it to get to the ferries.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't think this plan was well thought out. I think now that they're committed to it, they're trying to make it make sense. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't have a different scenarios and let the public choose. Because to me, a gondola takes people away from Broadway. I mean, I would think that Marshawn Lynch would be raising hell and saying, hey, wait a minute, I want people walking down Broadway and coming into beast mode, you know?
You know what? The good side, they'll be downtown before they go down there. And and the other thing I think that makes sense to me, and some may be walking. Maybe walk past the shop if he's open that late. But anyway, that's only 81 days a year. So what's going to happen to the gondola the other 250 days a year?
And here's my question. What's going to happen when the thing malfunctions or collapses?
Right.
You know, I mean,
right.
That's what, you know, not a fan.
I think what I would have done, work with the city to create kind of an LA Live out at the Coliseum area, with hotels and nightclubs and everything else, trying to transform that entire area along Hagenberger back to 6th Avenue as an ultimate urban development with all the security and parking and everything else that would come with that. Build parking structures like they have in many other ballparks that are downtown, and enough of them so that people can get in and out, like near the convention center at LA Live.
Oh, I got to get your opinion since we're talking about the Coliseum and everything. Tom Hanks got on Jimmy Kimmel, and I listened to him, and I made a video about him. It really pissed me off. And he said, among other things, that the, how do you put it? He said that when he was talking about the arena and Jimmy Kimmel was saying, hey, it's the end of an era and the Warriors are leaving, and then Tom Hanks says, well, I worked at Oracle Arena as an usher, and then he went on to tell these bad stories. Like he said he was held up twice, and then he was a peanut seller at the stadium, and he said someone he was robbed, and then there was some old guy that was mad that he was, quote, taking his money from him because, he was serving other people, and he's, oh, I'm just a little kid, and so Jimmy Kimmel says, oh, so you're really upset that you had some bad experiences. Yeah, I did, and that guy would yell at me. You could just, I don't, he's, and then he says, and he ends with this, he goes, and they could tear it down for all I care. And I went berserk, because to me, Tom Hanks shouldn't be getting on national television and basically trashing his city like that. And I know...
First of all, he probably hadn't been there in 45 years.
Yeah.
So he might say, well, if he had said, look, I had some bad experience, but I heard it got better. I said, okay, I can't take away what people had if they're telling the truth. But there's no reason to be that disparaging of something that you're not aware of on any level, current level. Again, I've been to the Coliseum since I was a little kid. I never had a bad experience. I never been robbed. I never had my car broken into. I had my car broken into downtown Oakland. I never had it broken into at the Coliseum.
Yeah, you hear that, Tom Hanks? See? You just left Oakland and you ain't got no Oakland soul in you anymore.
Well, not just that. Look at that. There are 20,000 people come to Warrior games every day. I ain't heard none of them talking about a bad experience.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so you're wrong, Hanks.
And they've been coming 47 years.
Yeah.
So I never heard crime as a reason not to go to a Warrior game.
No.
Or an A's game for that matter.
Boss, I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, can't he just say one good thing about it? And why do you have to get on TV? He got on national television, man. National television.
If that's his experience, only thing we'd ask for is equal time. And say, look, Tom Hanks, he felt like he needed to badmouth the Coliseum or whatever. Hey, I just want to make sure we understand that's his experience. And we have very few people who match that experience. So, they had the same thing happen he was killed in the damn Dodger game.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so here it is.
I never heard celebrities go in there and say, I'm scared to go to the Dodger game because I might get killed.
Hey, Jimmy Kimmel, Tom Hanks, Jimmy Kimmel, you got to bring Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris, former Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris on your show. Equal time. Get a real Oaklander on there, man. You know what? I want to see Tom Hanks and Elihu Harris. I want to see Mayor Harris take Tom Hanks' Oakland card away from him.
No, hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell him, stick to Toy Story. Leave Oakland stories alone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like he got on. He straight out. It was full out flaming, man. I'm like, whoa! Don't we get anything good? Can't wow, man.
Yeah, I feel. All right, Woody. Let's not do role play.
Exactly. My God. Too much.
Well, he's wrong, and I think again, the Coliseum is, until they went to football, everybody loved the sight lines and everything at the Coliseum for that. Great place to watch the ball game. Admittedly, when they put out Davis said there was some changes, but I never heard any criticism of the Coliseum football or Olympic football. But not the baseball, the rest of its history.
I gotta ask you, how do you think the Warriors will do in San Francisco? No KD, different team.
Well, I think because of the pricing of the tickets, the amount of money they got to raise to pay all these guys, that there's even the true fans behind. How many people can make $55,000 a year for 2 tickets to the lower bowl?
Ooh, that's crazy.
You have to give your firstborn and half of your salary. You make all of your salary if you're a minimum wage worker.
Are they going to make noise at the games? I mean, I'm concerned, man.
They'll probably be too cool for that. They'll probably come to the game from work in their business suits.
Oh God!
They'll probably be drinking cocktails and eating shelled peanuts.
See, Ellie, that's why I say we need Oakland needs an NBA team in its own brand. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about Seattle and everything, but I think there's one time we need to fight, man. We shouldn't let this go down. We shouldn't let this go down without a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? I would be okay if we had a WNBA team. We just need our own team so we can coalesce as a community behind a professional sports franchise. I mean, the one time, as you may remember, we had.
Oh, hello. Uh-oh. We lost Elihu. Hold on a second. Let me get him back. Somehow, we lost Elihu. Okay. Don't know how that happened. Okay. All right. Let me get him back. Okay. Folks, that was a very unusual thing that happened there. That happens rarely, and let me straighten that out. I click on this. Okay. Get him back. One of those weird Skype signal perturbations that cuts off your deal, which shouldn't happen. We're gonna be back in.
And I'm back with my hour up?
No, it was a Skype. It was a Skype glitch. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Those things that happened.
Right.
You know, I knew it happened as soon as it happened, and there we are. So yeah, and you were saying we're talking about
But I said, what
WNBA team.
They had 4 sports franchises. They had basketball, football, hockey, and baseball.
Yeah, the Oakland Oaks. But my point is...
No. It was California Seals.
Seals, I'm sorry.
The hockey team.
Right, Seals. The Seals.
And we had the A's, the Seals, the Warriors, and the Raiders.
Yep, yeah. And now...
Now we're Booster One.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're down the one. And you know what? I have a great idea. I know of someone that could be a fantastic ambassador for straightening out this mess. You know who that is?
Who?
Tom Hanks.
No, that's a good joke.
So Tom, right here, we're recruiting you, man. This will give you...
Hey, yours the truth after all those, I won't say lies, but those exaggerations.
No, they were lies. I mean, I'm not saying that nothing bad happened to him, but I'm saying that, look, there were a lot of great things that happened there. I mean, it was,
Right.
I mean, so I'm not accepting that. I mean, he comes, whatever. I don't want to, but you understand what I'm getting at. We have to prop up.
Yeah.
We have to defend the realm.
I'm glad they named the auditorium the Skyline High after Tom Hanks. I don't know what he had to do Scott other than graduate, but hey.
Well, I think that's right. It is named after him. So doggone, maybe he's mad that Oracle Arena isn't in his name. Maybe that's the.
No.
It's something there.
He probably has enough money to get the naming rights.
Hey, let me ask you. Let's talk politics before I run out of time. How much time you got left? How much time am I blessed to have with you?
Let's limit to about 10, 15 minutes.
You got it. District 3 race is coming up. How do you see that panning out? Do you think Lynette's going to run for re-election?
Well, there are a number of candidates who expressed interest. I'm not going to name them, but they are out talking to people and drilling support, in addition to the incumbent who plans to run again. Mm-hmm. So, between Lynette and these other people who are considering running, it should be very, very inspired and challenging race.
Because Lynette, we're talking about Lynette Gibson McElhaney, who has been a great District 3 council member. She's my council member. But are any of the people, I know you can't name names, but are any of the people running against her people who ran before?
There are people who have run for office before, not necessarily against her.
Gotcha. And then we have Oakland District 7 Councilman Larry Reed's seat coming up. Is he going to run for re-election? Yeah. Or do you...
He says that he's not, but my understanding is that his former chief of staff, his daughter, and Bishop Bob Jackson were all planning to run.
Oh, so you have Ray Leon, who is former.
I haven't heard Ray talk about running.
Okay.
Iris Marion is talking about running.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And his daughter, Trina, is talking about running, and Trina, and Bishop Bob Jackson's already out announced that he's running.
So we have Bishop Bob Jackson, Treva Reed, Iris Marions. How do you pronounce her last name? Is it Marions? Marions, yeah. And then possibly Ray Leon, but I'm not sure. I know Ray just retired.
Ray is not indicated at all that he's running.
Okay, Ray's not. Okay, that's me being that way. All right, I think Ray would be a great council member. That's just me. But anyway.
Well, if you went to his going away reception in his retirement, they had the kind of going away they have for city managers and mayors and council members. He was that well respected and liked.
No, he's an awesome guy. I'm just mad he didn't invite me.
Yeah.
I'd have flown in for it.
One of the things that I said at the time, he's the go-to guy. And I got one guy to call Oakland City Hall knows as Ray.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, no, he is.
I talked to the mayor about hiring Ray, and she was almost insulting. And I said, look, you need somebody with the credibility of Ray Leon to represent you in the community. You want to know why? You got people in the community. They don't have anybody in your office that they have either respect for or who they believe is really fighting for their interests.
Wait. So your statement comes on the heels of last week when somebody posted a photograph of the summer interns for the mayor, and even though one of them was light-skinned black, they all basically look like they're white or light-skinned Latino.
Well, she claims she was half black, but she didn't claim that before the picture. So she didn't look like it in the picture.
No.
So, hey, listen, in America, you can have one drop of black blood and be black.
That's
so,
true.
Hey, I'm not going to dispute her, and if you want to be black, hey, I'm for you.
But basically what you're explaining for us is that, not just you, I'll put it out there too. For some particular reason, the mayor has been allergic to hiring black men on her staff. And why that is, I don't know. I think Kat Brooks made a mention of this on not what I'm saying, on Facebook.
I saw it.
But see, this is something that I have talked about with a lot of people for now 2 years, and there's really an issue. And Libby someone else said that Libby recently hired an African American who was her right hand. I don't know if it's I don't know what's going on, but it just
had black. She's had black folks in her office. I don't think Libby's a racist. I think at all.
No.
In fact, I think she. Hold up, wait a minute. I think she feels that everybody in the city. I still think sometimes there's an unconscious kind of racism that has the same effect, even without the same intent. But it's hard to explain that when you don't believe, because you don't feel racist,
right.
that the manifestation of your actions has the same effect.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think you've hit it more than right on the head, and it's something that I know has been a bugaboo for Libby and for a while, because I mean, and I think something that she's tried to work on but doesn't quite know how. And I think, and as
I really, I've talked to Libby, and she doesn't like my solutions, and she hasn't come up with any of her own. So I don't know what to say other than, like Libby, I want her to succeed. I think she deserves. I think she's a good cheerleader for the city. I think she cares about the people who live there. I think she cares about the homeless. But I don't think that the performance matches the intent or the well wishes.
It's just like I have said that, and I'll just say, with respect to me, she called on me a lot for advice regarding the National Football League, and it was to a level where I've talked about this privately, and she says, well, Libby should just hired you as a consultant, and I would just say, as disclosure here, I'm a consultant. Here's why. But then she hires this guy out of New York, Mitch. And Mitch has no experience with Oakland. He doesn't know tax security financing. He brought no value added to the picture, and yet she gave him a $100,000 no bid, no competitive bid, just as needed contract. You just draw off whenever you want to, and no one, because he's white, the press didn't make a stink about it because the press is white. Okay, and then I mean, it's being really 1,000,000% honest. Okay,
in her mind, I think she thought she did the right thing, but I think on the other hand, I think she didn't understand how disrespectful that was.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's and the whole point is, here I am with these relationships, and yet she's calling on me for all this advice, and I'm like, dude.
And not to mention 3 years of history on the issue.
Not to mention that I almost brought the Super Bowl to Oakland. So
and you were intimately involved when the Raiders came back.
Yeah. So I mean, with all that, and the reason why I say this is because it falls under the heading of what the late Ralph Wiley wrote in his book, Why Black People Tend to Shout. Okay, and and the point being is that you could be the smartest person in the room, but there's some people, not all, because the world is changing, fortunately. Because if it were not the case, we would not have had President Obama. But there's some people who, because you're black, they don't even want to see that you are the right other smart person. It's easy to deny smartness,
Remember Invisible Man?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ralph Ellison.
Yeah, that's another analogy.
Yeah, that's it. We're invisible, and
insight out of mind.
Right, and that's why some of us went to athletics because, they would say the ball don't lie, right? But in other aspects of life, a person can lie about you, and I mean, it's horrible. Like this, it may not seem related, but it really is. This cop, I think it was in Florida, that was planting drugs on over 100 people. Stuff like that. And he had his body cam on.
We got to go to Florida. What about the rioters in Oakland?
Yeah, the rioters in Oakland. Thank you, West Oakland there. And the long legacy we've had with police racism against African Americans. And you would think that Libby, and this is what gets me about the person who is my god sister and how she's changed. And and I'm saying that I realize full well what I'm saying, but it needs to be said because you want your friend to get better and you're in that position.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like Libby a lot. I think she's a nice person.
Love her.
I've never heard Libby's character or her intent, but I think sometimes I just wish that I could get her to listen to me and make some positive changes, because I think that her legacy can certainly be improved if she has the right people around her who are connected to every neighborhood, every ethnicity, basically every community in Oakland.
Yep, straight out. But she went with this crowd that she viewed as basically techno and white, and I remember,
everybody got a choice. Hey, that's her choice. Yep. She got elected. She got the right. I disagree with that choice, and I think that in the long run is that. I mean, I get stopped at grocery stores. I get stopped at gas stations. Talking about Libby, and I don't think and that happens with every mayor. Don't get me wrong, but it just happens. It's happened more frequently, not with people who are mad as much as bewildered and say, "What do you think about Libby Schaaf?" I don't feel her. I don't. What's she trying to do? I mean, I don't think she cares about my community, and I can't argue with them because I can't tell them or point to people who, when, where, how that would convince them otherwise.
Yeah, she gets on. She's on national television. She's out here talking about Trump, but that's not enough for local people. Hey, I got an idea to close out because I know you got to go. Why don't we get this? This is how we can basically help Libby right her ship. Okay, get on national television, go up against Tom Hanks and take away his Oakland Card.
Hey, that'd be a step in the right direction. I'm sure she would do that. No,
yeah.
Again, Libby is a great cheerleader for Oakland. Mm-hmm. I ain't got no issues with her speaking out for Oakland. My issues have to do with the administration of the city, with the priorities of the city, and the implementation of things she talks about. I think those things could be improved tremendously. But I wouldn't want her to take this as anything other than constructive criticism.
Exactly.
I want her to succeed.
Yeah, Libby, the whole point here is a very simple rule. Don't leave your friends out on the shore. And there are a lot of people, and this started when Libby got elected, who were friends, talented people, who feel like that she left them on the shore. I feel like, in my case, she left me on the shore, but when my media stuff got really prominent, it was like, hey, can you tell my story, but only about me being. Can you tell my story about with respect to black folks? But the simple fact of the matter, you know this, Elihu, people do not. The black community does not come looking to Zinni Abraham for a message. I mean, they just don't. Okay, I'm more your general guy. So I'm thinking, is that how you see me, just as a black person? You don't see me as, hey, look,
I think you asked her, she would say, in her sense of honesty, no, Zinni, you know I'm not like that. But sometimes, hey, what you think you are is not who you are.
Right, absolutely, And I just want to get a thicker skin and just say, hey, you know what? I need to show up my relationships with the people that I've known the longest. And and I think that I could just name some names. Boom, 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 boom.
Even if she didn't pay you, Zinni, she certainly there's so many things you would have done to help her based on the relationship.
Oh yeah.
Even without being paid. If you didn't have any money, you said, look, if you got money, then you got to hire me. But if you didn't have any money and you wanted my help, hey, I'd be there for you when you got me help in return your help.
I never asked to be paid until actually.
I want
to clean this up. I want to clean this up real quick though. The only reason it became an issue is because of the frequency, and then I later found out about a year and a quarter later, she's paying this dude $100,000, and he knows far less than I do for the same questions. And I'm wait a minute, that's when I was like, what?
That's kind of insulting.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the black guy is for free, but you pay the white guy $100,000. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got it, and I understand. Look, Zinni, first of all, thank you for always trying to keep us informed and connected, because many of these movements, as you know, are no longer exposed by anybody but you or talked about with anybody but you. I hope you kind of give us a sense as to what's going on with Oakland Promise, because that's the mayor's signature issue, and I'm kind of confused about where it's at and what its future is.
Tell me from your end what you're hearing about the Oakland Promise. Tell us. What do you hear?
I hear it's in a stalemate because of some issue over its status as what the vote requirement is for a charter amendment or a parcel tax. And I think that we've not been able to actually spend that public money yet until they, in fact, get clarification in court. And I understand that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, I think, for another, until January of next year. Now, I'll check in the conflict issue. I know that the Measure KK funds, the vote was 62%. They needed 66%. They didn't get it. Libby tried I'm sorry, go ahead.
They needed 66 and 2/3.
Yeah, thank you. 66 and 2/3, thank you. But they didn't get that. And I've never, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Elihu, but I've never known of a situation in Oakland history that the mayor and the council tried to override the citizens' vote because they didn't like the outcome.
But that's what I'd like you to find out why that is. I mean, is it because they think this is more important, or that there's a case that you may want to look at? I think it's against the city of San Diego, where I think they said that you did not, for general tax increase, you did not need to have a majority vote. And I don't know, I don't think this was a general tax increase, though. I think, I'm not sure what a parcel tax.
It wasn't a general tax increase. As I understood, it was considered a new tax.
Right, and that's the dispute in court. So that's the issue.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. But I mean, we're talking about $1 billion over the next 30 years that will be collected under this tax. And while the purpose is good, I'm not clear what the status of that initiative is.
See, here's the thing. I'm not even sure if the purpose is good, because my thought is, hey, look, you have homeless people on the street, and that money ought to be going to an emergency program of developing 4,000 new, extra affordable homes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the either or, but you ought to ask the mayor to come on and give us an update on Oakland Promise.
I will. Well, I'm gonna ask her to come on and just talk in general, and then help. And then,
Oakland Promise is a signature issue. She put her heart and soul into it. I just want to know what's going on with it.
Yeah, no, it goes back to Oakland Cares. Do you remember Oakland Cares?
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying now, under her tenure as mayor, it's Oakland Promise. So I just want to know what's happening with this, and when we expect to get a report. I didn't get a report every year, but I'm talking about when we implement it and how it will be implemented.
I'm on it, man. You got it, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, I'll let you go.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, it's great,
Keep up
great.
the good work.
You got it. Hey, God bless you for being here, man. Thank you. Okay, see ya.
All right, brother.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Okay, see ya. So, folks, that was former Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris, and a rousing conversation. I don't think I've had that open and free-form a conversation with Elihu on this show ever. No, I know I haven't. I mean, because, you know, it's always been him talking more than me, and I know I have this, well, I try to say little, but this time I felt free. You know, I thought, you know what? Elihu and I go back to 1992, and I worked for him from 1995 to 2000, well, from 99, and he's been on the board of my company. You know, he's friends, right? We have my step-brother-in-law is his godbrother, the late Ralph Grant, who's a legend in Oakland. And so I should have asked him about Ralph and that. Well, I'll get another time. At any rate, a lot of history there, you know, a lot of history. So it was gratifying. We got a chance to take aim at Tom Hanks. So I'm going to take that snippet of this live stream. I'm going to package it up a big bow, cyberly, and I'm going to send it off to Tom Hanks and send one off to Jimmy Kimmel and just let it fly. Why not, you know? What do you guys think of that exchange? Just curious. So they're all speechless. So some of your comments here, we've got, let's see. Corey said a lot of Oaklanders can no longer afford the city and move to places like Stockton like I did, and now they're overcrowded and rents are going up. Cowboy Wrestler says, love Tom Hanks, great actor, but he could have been a little more classier with regards to Oakland. Agreed. Cowboy Wrestler then adds, the Los Angeles Coliseum was a whole lot worse than the Oakland Coliseum when it came to Raider games. It was. Cowboy Wrestler writes, I'm sick of the trashing of Oakland. And Donis Giorgio says, same with football, Zenny. Talk is in, yeah. And then Corey Brown writes, we need a new football and basketball team with owners committed to Oakland. And I think that's doable. I really do. I think that's something that can be done and should be done, you know? So, if anybody, if you're not responding, so I'm taking it your, you know, done. But I'm going to sign out real quick because we started early. I do want to say that I noticed that there's some new information that's really this new old version of the Las Vegas Stadium information. What I'm going to do is this, okay? It's 12:26, which makes it 9:26 back there. I'm going to stop this live stream, and I'm going to start a new one called Las Vegas Stadium Construction Update. It's not going to be a long live stream. It's not going to be a long live stream, okay? I'll be back. We'll see you.